Everyone please rise and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Gilson.
Here.
Walsall.
Present.
Milszewski. Here. Todd.
Here.
Munns.
Here.
Funkhauser.
Here.
Spears.
Present.
Teeling. Here. We have a quorum.
Do we have any amendments to the agenda? I would like to move Mayor's Report number 1 until after executive session. That's the only one I have. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? No presentations this evening, no public hearings. Do we have any citizen comments? Going once? All righty. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Comments or questions on consent? Roll call, please.
Walsall.
Aye.
Milszewski.
Aye.
Spears.
Aye.
Munns.
Aye.
Funkhauser.
Aye.
Gilson.
Aye.
Teeling.
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, we have no minutes for approval. Mayor's report was put until after executive session. No Public Works Committee report, no EDC Committee report, no Public Safety Committee report. Administration Committee.
Okay. Oh, we don't have, okay. During the Administration Committee, we were provided fiscal year 2011 budget report, and I believe everybody has a copy for their review right now. And does anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah, it's just being provided to everybody as an informational item. These are preliminary audit figures, actually. So the audit should be completed this week or next week, and a formal copy will be submitted to you and then presented on October 11th, provided everything gets finalized in the appropriate time. And so really this is just time to ask any questions if you have any preliminarily. Otherwise, you can ask us in front of the auditors or ask the auditors yourselves in a couple of weeks.
And at this time, the budget should be at 33.33%.
Okay, that's just informational, so no questions, comments, concerns? Okay, we'll move on to Park Board report. I will entertain a motion to approve the naming of Raintree Park B tennis courts to Coleman Courts.
So moved.
Second.
Bart, did you want to give a little background on this, or Laura?
Defer to Laura.
Okay. I don't even know how it came to us. I believe it was a couple of years ago that it was first talked about, actually, naming one of the features or a park possibly after Mr. Coleman, who had passed away in the September 11th attacks. We contacted Dwayne Coleman, who's his father, and he and his wife were agreeable to us naming a feature. And we had talked to him about the tennis courts, and he thought that would be very appropriate because his son was, enjoyed tennis. So we filled out the application, and he wrote his letter of support, and is in support of this. And it was mentioned at the Patriots Walk, and the park board fully supported it. So we would just like to also have your vote to name the tennis courts at Raintree Park B Coleman Courts, and we'll put a bronze plaque out there. We'll work on the wording with Jeff Coleman's father, Dwayne Coleman, and we'll work on the wording for that feature out at the park. So the dedication would probably be next summer when we do actually a grand opening for the entire park. We would invite the family out there. So.
Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Funkhauser.
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Walsall.
Aye.
Spears.
Aye.
Munns.
Aye.
Milszewski.
Aye.
Gilson.
Aye.
Teeling.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Any Plan Commission, Christie? No. No Zoning Board of Appeals? Library Board. Carla, do you want to take that one?
Sure. I've mentioned this before. The library board currently has $332,500 in a fund that is very restrictive as how they can use those monies. We wanted the opportunity to free up those funds, and we came up with the proposal that the library board would transfer from their fund balance $332,500 to the city, and in turn, we would then transfer from the general fund $332,500 back to the library board, which gives them the same amount of money, but without the restrictions from the other fund. We've ran it by legal, we ran it by everybody. This is fine to do. Right now, there are certain needs that the library has that it would like to have the money for, painting, scraping, some gutter work, things like that. And the current funds are restricted to new additions, not repairs of old materials, things like that. For example, they couldn't replace this ceiling fan, but they could, in fact, add a ceiling fan next to it. So it's very restrictive the way it's written. We have been drafting an ordinance to change that in the future. We had, I believe, last City Council, we had a draft for your review. It hasn't yet been passed. But this would allow the library to have more flexibility in their spending, make some much-needed repairs to the library, and it would be at no cost to our funds. We would be taking in and putting out the exact same amount. So I would ask for you to support it. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I guess I just don't understand if they're, what are they giving us the money for? I mean, what are we going to use it for?
Well,
I
in
don't
essence-
understand.
Well, in essence, the money is being transferred to us when the Game Farm Road repairs are being made. That money will be earmarked for the road repairs that we will have to pay for anyway, for their parking area, to cut them into the new road, things like that. Those things we have to pay for whether the library gives us money or not. So in essence, we're taking the money that's restricted that can be used for the roads and giving them money that's non-restricted that they can use for books and technology and repairs and whatever they need to do.
Right, but if they give us the $335,000, wouldn't their money from developers be spent then? So then if we're giving them other money, then wouldn't that be like a loan that they had to pay back to us? Because the money, if they give us that money and we have to use it for a road in front of their library, and they spent that money then.
Correct. I understand what you're saying. The fact of the disconnect here is that they're not, if we do nothing and we don't give them the money and they don't give us the money, we're the ones paying for the road repair, not them.
Well, we should be paying for the road repair anyways, because, we're responsible for the roads.
Correct.
The library is not.
Correct.
Yeah, there's no loan involved in the process. It's just a dollar for dollar one-time switch. So we're going to take their money, use it on the roads, and they're going to take our money and do whatever they want with it. So, as their
See,
money.
they have a bag of money that's restricted.
I understand.
Okay, so in essence, what we're doing is the restriction that they have on their money is okay with us because we're going to use that money for the roads, which we have to pay for anyway. So we can take the restriction because we're going to pay for the roads anyway.
We have an eligible capital cost for their
They're
funds.
taking $332,000 that's
So
unrestricted.
we're just giving the library.
Yes. Yep.
Well, we're not giving it to them. We're
Yes,
giving
we
them-
are.
Yeah, we're giving them money, they're giving us money.
We're not giving them
It's just a
332.
switch.
Yeah, it's just
Trade.
Switch of funds, it's they're transferring to us and we're transferring different funds back to free up the restriction, that's all.
correct.
That make sense?
No.
No?
No loan whatsoever.
Nobody has to pay anybody back.
There, in fact,
I understand what you're saying. I just don't know. To me, it seems like if they give us money, if they're going to spend their money on a road, then their money's spent. It's gone. And we're holding their money until it's time to do that road, but they've already given us their money that's earmarked for the road. Their money's spent.
Their money's not earmarked for the road.
Well, I know,
Their
it's
money can be
earmarked
used
for-
any capital improvement
Exactly.
regarding the library.
Which they're choosing to do the road.
On the condition that.
It's a condition that we've come to with them. We're going to conditionally do the road as long as we return the $332,000 for them to use on items that they need.
Right,
to
so
use.
we're just giving them money out of our general fund.
But
correct.
we're giving them money out of our
essentially,
general
yes.
fund, but we are also bringing in that money into our general fund.
Yes, that we
We're not-
can't use for anything but the road.
Exactly, but
So
we're
where
going
are
to do
we,
it anyways.
where are we
It's an
getting the
offset.
335,000 or whatever it is out of our general fund?
No.
No, we're using the $332,500 that the library is giving us. That's the money we're using for the roads.
Yes.
We are paying for the roads no matter what, whether we do this or not. So we can do it with restricted money, or we can do it with unrestricted money. We're taking the restricted money, and we're going to pay for the roads with that money.
Sure. There's two impacts. One is budgetary, which is only going to be on paper. So on paper, our general fund is going to be hurt, but our capital fund will be improved. And meanwhile, the library's operation fund will be improved, obviously. 'Cause they have
Yeah, I
unrestricted
understand
funds.
that, because they have money that they can
Correct.
only use for capital projects.
From a cash flow perspective, there's no impact to us. We're receiving $332,000 and sending it out. So there's going to be no net effect to cash flow on our part.
Okay.
So.
But legally, there's no problems with that, correct? Meaning that the developers gave them that money for capital improvements, and even though we're swapping it in and transferring it back out, there's no legal ramifications for that, correct, legal
No,
counsel?
the library is a part of the city. It's not a separate library district, so there is no issue.
Okay.
I'm not sure there'd be an issue if it was a district, but I don't even have to look into it because they're part of the city.
Any other questions on that? I guess we should have made a motion first, right?
Hold on, I do have one question. I asked this in committee too, Carlo.
Sure.
When you went back to the board and asked them if they're going to actually use those funds for technology and upgrades and things within the current library that we have now, what was the answer you received from the library?
I was assured that absolutely it was used for those things. They're not going to use it all at once, because they realize this is it's not going to replenish itself. It's not like a tax-derived every quarter or twice a year they're going to be getting more monies. They understand that once they use the $332,000, there might not be any more money depending on development. So they are going to save some. They're going to use it very conservatively, but they are going to start making the investments into books, technologies, painting, just things that need to be done around the library that they can't do with this other monies.
But they're not going to stockpile that money and eventually say that they're a positive budget and try to form a district because they have extra money laying around that we transferred.
I specifically asked them that question. I said, it is not your intent to stockpile this money to show a positive fund balance so then you can make your push to become a district. And they said that is not their intent. It is their intent to use those monies for technology, books, repairs, things that they need to do around the library.
Thank you, Carlo.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Well, then I will entertain a motion to approve an ordinance approving the revision of the 2011-2012 fiscal year budget for the United City of Yorkville regarding the general fund, the library operations fund, and the library development fee fund, subject to the library board approving the revision of the library operations fund and the library development fee fund, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Pat,
Aye.
Wolfco,
Aye.
Spears,
Aye.
Munns,
Aye.
Olszewski,
Aye.
Gilson,
Aye.
Teeling,
Nay.
Funkhauser.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Do I need to vote on that? Supermajority budget
No,
amendment?
no.
Okay. Okay, we have no city council report. City clerk's report?
No report.
City treasurer's report? No report. Any community or liaison reports? Okay, any staff reports? Chief?
Yeah, I'd like to announce the Halloween trick-or-treat hours. They're going to be on Monday, October 31st from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. This is the standard hours we've done the last few years. From what was that? Excuse me? The hours? From 4 p.m. until 7 p.m.
Any other staff reports? Additional business?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to, for a vote to reconsider on an item that we voted on last city council meeting on EDC 2011-36, annexation of certain properties pursuant to section 7113 of the Illinois Municipal Code. After I got home and started thinking about this, I just didn't feel comfortable with my vote, and I feel like that I just think that it's wrong to force annex in any businesses. And I want to go on the record that say that I'm totally against forcing anyone to annex into the city if they don't want to. I think it would be better, as Alderman Gilson brought up, that we should contact the businesses and the people in that area and ask them if this is something that they'd want to do. I don't believe the city of Yorkville has ever done anything like this in the past, and I don't want to be part of a sudden shift in policy that's so aggressive.
I'll second it.
Comments or questions on it?
Well, I just want to clarify that we did not vote to force annex anybody. We voted to send out notices to receive feedback from the public whether we should force annex. I agree with you, Diane. I'm very skeptical about force annexing anybody. However, I have no objection to sending out notices, as I stated the last city council meeting 2 weeks ago, to hear what the people have to say. So I think that we set a bad precedent if we start voting on things and then change our minds, and we don't really know where we stand, and we get packets, we need to prepare, we need to vote accordingly, and I mean, we can't start going backwards and re-voting on things, so I would oppose your motion, and I think we already voted on it, and it's moot.
On that same note, I talked to one business owner already, and I instructed staff, not to send any memos out. We're going to try and contact some of these business owners first, to see where they stand on it. So, I mean, right now, like you said, it's a moot point. We didn't vote to force annex anybody. We voted to send out some notifications to see where the people stand.
But as I vigorously argued at the last council meeting, what was done and what was refused at the last council meeting was you did start a process that could potentially lead to forced annexation. And when I asked for that forced annexation part of it to be either removed or for us to forget about that process and just talk to the business owners and the property owners, that was refused. And so if those that are speaking here tonight saying that they oppose forced annexation, then they would have voted to do exactly what I proposed last time, which is to not begin that process of potential forced annexation and just go forward talking to the property owners, which is what we're doing anyway, it appears. So, and I support it, and I hope everyone here tonight reconsiders, and I support a revote.
Doesn't that be something from the winning side to bring up another vote?
I voted for it.
Vote positive for it?
Yes.
And just to clarify, too, a motion to reconsider, if I may play parliamentarian for a minute, is a yes or no vote to place it on the next agenda for reconsideration. So it's an actual vote on whether you want to reconsider.
I guess when I made my vote, I kind of bought into the fact that it was just, getting people together and seeing to ask them if they want to. Well, we could do that without starting the legal process of and moving us forward in the direction of annexing them, forcefully annexing them. So that's why I brought it up.
Well, I just want to say, as far as reconsidering votes, I'm totally against that. If we start that, we can do that every meeting. If somebody votes on something and somebody from the outside contacts you and explains something, I think that's why we're here. We're supposed to know this information, what we're voting on, and vote accordingly. And I just can't support reconsidering the vote.
But Rose, in all due respect for the bigger cause is, I don't think, and I'm hoping there's more than just two of us, which you and I were the only one who voted against it last time, and now there's three. For the bigger cause, I don't think we should even be, to look at a revote, I think would be wise here, because looking at a revote potentially eliminate that potential for moving forward for forced annexation, which is the process that we began with that last vote. And I think there's a bigger cause here. I think we need to look above that. And I just think it's, once again, I hope that those that voted yes last time vote to reconsider.
I just have a question about, Mayor Galinsky said that he's held off on sending out the notices, but this has already been a vote. The council and the mayor already have the authority from the city council to start the proceedings on this. They already have they're obligated by an ordinance that we passed 2 weeks ago, and that's why I believe it is important to at least, request and ask for a vote to reconsider.
Well, I just want to clarify, Kathy, if I may, the process that we started, because, I have concerns about forced annexation, so I just want to clarify. The process that we started in no way, shape, or form commits us to force annexing anybody, correct?
No, the next process would be set a date for a public hearing, and then after the public hearing, vote on the annexation. And this council, we have decided that one group would be as one annexation because it's under 60 acres, but I believe it's in fact even two separate votes because it would be two separate public hearings. So it is a process that is not going to go directly to vote.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Just clarification, too. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but if we're going to approach these businesses and these residents about coming into the city of Yorkville, it's the legal counsel's recommendation and the staff recommendation that this is the right way to do it. Is that correct?
Is that your
Isn't that what you
recommendation?
recommended last time?
Yes, the discussion at the last meeting, as you will recall, is there are specific reasons that these individuals have not, in fact, annexed to the city. In a public hearing, and starting out with the process, in my mind, in my experience, which I'm no younger, young, will force you to understand why these property owners have not annexed. And that's something that if a less formal process, I do not think will get the response or the information that you need. That's just based on experience. That's why it's our recommendation, not the ultimate issue.
Okay, but that's the direction you gave us
That is
last
the
meeting
direction,
with, we're going to do
Yeah,
anything,
it is.
do it this way.
Yes, otherwise you'll only hear by innuendo why a certain property owner does not want to annex.
And plus, it's the most cost-effective way to do it, is that correct?
Certainly, yes.
Okay.
George?
But, once again, I mean, when I asked the direct question, and let's be forthright here and forthcoming with everybody who's listening, I asked, is our intention to force annex these people? And nobody gave me a straight answer. I think this process is a process begun because we, as a city, already know that there's certain property owners that don't want to annex. And the caveat there, Larry, is if one property owner says no, we can't do it. And so to begin a process of bringing people in to talk about it, when all we have to do is individually approach these owners, if one says no, there's no sense in going forward with this. What is our intention here? Are we intending to go ahead and force annex these properties if one person says no or all say no into the city? I guess I think we deserve a direct answer here.
I think it's all open to discussion, and I personally don't know that they don't want to come into the city.
Well,
I mean, maybe you know something I don't know, but until they come forward before this council, I don't know that.
but is our intent, if one says no, is our intent to force annex this group of properties into the city?
I think we make that decision when the time comes. But this is the process that we're being told we need to follow.
Why, Bart, are you saying this is a less costly process when making phone calls to each individual property owner has no cost whatsoever to it?
Well, I was calculating staff time. I've been involved in several annexation agreement negotiations. They're not a clean, easy, or simple process. And especially when you're dealing with multiple parcel owners like this, in my opinion, to get everybody to voluntarily agree could take several months, if not longer.
But before you even begin that process, you need to know whether or not there's an intention there to force annex or not. And if we go forward, we make the phone calls, which has no cost whatsoever, and then one of those property owners says, no, we're not going to force annex, there's no cost, and we know we're not going to do it, so what's the point in moving forward with the process?
Our recommendation, the staff's recommendation, was predicated on service delivery. It's inefficient to have pockets of unincorporated areas in the municipality where the township or the county is providing a service. And then the second is revenue generation for the city. We've made no bones about it. There's an inequity in sales tax rate in one area in your municipality that's in the middle of it. Not only will that bring everybody equal to somebody who's almost literally across the street and in the municipality, but it also results in sales tax and property tax generation for the city. So that was the reason that
We're
we
back to
recommended.
My recommendation,
Our
yes.
intent is, we're looking to try to bring these people in and potentially force annex them against their will.
The basis, if I might, for my recommendation is singular. You do not know. And making a phone call to a property owner will not advise this city council as a whole as to why a property owner is not willing to annex. There are several members here who sat through several hearings on European auto, for example. And that was a situation where we were advised by the property owner that there were certain building code requirements the property owner could not meet. And so consequently, the issue was dropped and we all went home because the city council determined that it would not make a waiver in terms of compliance with building code. The issue is that the only way, in my experience again, that every member of the city council will be afforded equal opportunity to understand from a property owner what their issues are with the city is to have them come before you. To have a staff member call and get an opinion from Joe and repeat it, that's the only reason. I cannot address, nor would I attempt to address, the ultimate purpose of the city council to force an X or not to force an X. But I think the city council as a whole deserves the right to understand why. I think it was Alderman Funkhauser who last time said, well, they don't want to conform with the signage. They don't want to conform. Yes, that may be the case, but until they come before you, we won't know.
And I apologize. Fundamentally, I'm opposed to it. If the property owner doesn't want to annex for one reason or another up and down the line, and this is where I'm fundamentally opposing exactly what you're saying is, I'm opposed to force annexing them. And so it really doesn't matter whether it comes from your mouth or from staff's mouth. If someone says, no, I don't want to annex into the city of Yorkville, then I support that. And so I just think, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the question. So.
Everybody has to talk first.
Sure.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say I agree with Rose, Alderman Spears, that if we start doing this for this issue, we're going to be just every time there's a vote and somebody talks to you about it, and we're going to be changing these votes and want to revisit issues we've already decided on and voted. So when it comes to an issue and you do your research and you vote yea or nay, that should be pretty much it. Keep bringing these things up over and over again. Doesn't make sense.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
So wait.
Go ahead. Positive would be for reconsideration?
Correct.
So nay would be not reconsidering.
Colosimo,
Nay.
Spears,
Nay.
Munns,
Nay.
Milszewski,
Nay.
Gilson,
Aye.
Teeling,
Aye.
Funkhauser,
Nay.
Pat,
Nay.
motion fails.
Okay. Any other additional business?
We do have a brief presentation on the rec center, which we can do after executive session prior to the adjournment of this meeting and immediately prior to the special city council park board meeting. So just a heads up.
I figured we would do executive session, come do the KenCon thing, adjourn this meeting, and then start the park board meeting.
The presentation on the executive session is not listed on the special city council agenda. It's only executive session. Typically with a special city council meeting, it has to be explicitly listed on the agenda for you to even foray into it, whether or not you're taking action.
So you wanted to have the presentation with the park board outside of a meeting? I don't
Presentation to the city council and anybody else that's here, yeah.
Okay.
And then we would adjourn the meeting and then enter into a new meeting.
Okay. So I'll entertain the motion
I
to
understand.
adjourn to executive session for two reasons, for collective negotiating matters and for litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Spears,
Aye.
Milszewski,
Aye.
Colosimo,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Teeling,
Aye.
Gilson,
Aye.
Funkhauser,
Aye.
Munns.
All right.
Okay. Got it.
Pretty much.
Under Mayor's Report, entertain a motion to approve a resolution approving the intergovernmental agreement creating Kendall County Emergency Phone Service and Communication Board dated November 18th, 2010, with change in amount of contribution of Kendall County and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table that motion to the next city council meeting.
Second?
Okay, roll call on the motion table, please.
Spears.
Aye.
Munns.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Gilson.
Aye.
Teeling.
Aye.
Funkhauser.
Aye.
Pat.
Aye.
Colsmo.
Aye.
Motion to table carries.
Okay, we do have one other item of additional business. We do have a presentation from the Parks and Rec Department.
Okay, is this, okay, fine. There we go. Tim and I just wanted to give you an update on the rec center. And to start off this presentation, we actually are going to go backwards and tell you how we got to the rec center, just because we have new elected officials, and we wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. So this is our Park and Recreation Department history. In 1979, or actually first in 1977, the Park Commission and the Human Resource Commission jointly formed a community center committee as an advisory commission to the City Council. And in 1979, this committee specifically formed the Beecher Community Center. They actually worked together to create the Beecher Community Center, and that was built on the land deeded to the city by the Department of Conservation, on which was the former fairgrounds and on Game Farm Road. The center was built utilizing funds left to the city and the will of former city clerk Clarence Beecher. In 1988, the Recreation Board was created. They oversee the development of the parks and recreation facilities and services. The mission statement was to create unique recreational and park experiences that enrich lives and create a sense of community. And the Parks and Rec Department strives to complete these 5 different things, which is respond to the leisure needs and desires of the Yorkville community, implement parks and open space master plan, acquire, develop, maintain, and preserve parks, facilities, and natural and historic areas, provide the community with opportunities to play, gather, celebrate, learn, and enjoy nature, and utilize financial resources efficiently and equitably. In 2002, just to give you a little bit of history on the department in terms of staffing, there were 10 to 11 employees in 2002, and at this time, the administrative offices were moved from to the riverfront building from the Beecher Center. And now there is where Geneva Kayak currently is operating out of. In 2004, the Recreation Department moved in 2004 from the Beecher Center to office space and rented the Kramer Building to make room for the senior programming at the Beecher Center. We also had programming space at a local church and school. And we also used school gyms for open gym. In 2005, we ended up with 16 total staff. As you can see, they're all listed there. In 2006, the former Police Department and Public Works building at Riverfront Park was given to the Recreation Department, and it was renovated for programming and was specifically a preschool building. In 2007, the post office was purchased by the city and given to the Recreation Department to be used as administration offices. And then the Riverfront building was used by the Building Department for planned storage and inspector offices. And in November, we had a citywide survey to determine what the priorities and needs of the residents of Yorkville were from the Parks and Recreation Department.
The survey results, the top 5 from the survey were, number 1 was paved bike trails, 2 was outdoor recreational pool, 3 was facility dedicated to fitness and wellness, 4 was indoor recreational pool, and 5 was recreation center with gym and instructional rooms. And as a special note, number 8 was a teen center. In 2008, we began to lease Club 47 and renamed it to the Rec Center. And the reason this was completed was to meet the need of the 3 of those 5 top items on the community survey. In 2009, we were up to 17 staff members. And then in 2010, we were down to 13. And right now, all recreation staff and offices were moved to the Rec Center. And the preschool and programming was moved to the administration offices and the Rec Center. And the former Riverfront building and former preschool buildings were leased out to local businesses, and that contract is until June 2013. And I'm going to leave it to Tim at this point.
Okay, well, my name is Tim Evans. I'm the superintendent of recreation, just so everyone knows who I am. We were just going to do now kind of an analysis before we took over the rec center when we were paying rent to what we are doing today with the rec center and what the cost of that is. In our first slide, the last time that the recreation department was involved in paying rent was when we moved out of Beecher into the Kramer's office building. We were actually renting 3 facilities at that time for all of our space. We were renting office space at $18,000 a year or $1,500 a month. We were renting Parkview, just part of the gymnasium there, to do some programming at $15,000 a year or $1,250 a month. And then a Congregational Church, we were renting a room there for where we had our one preschool at the time at $450 a month. So we were spending a total of $38,400 a year or $3,200 a month in just rental space. We were not paying utilities at that time. That was part of the city when they moved us out of Beecher Center. They picked up the utilities at Kramer's office building, so the $3,200 a month was just all of the rental fees that we were paying. At this time at the rec center, we're spending $18,500 a month for a total of $220,000 a year in rental space or in our lease agreement. Because we do collect memberships with the membership fees there, currently our deficit the last few years has averaged between $60,000 and $70,000, or a deficit/rental fee a month of $5,833. This rent pays for all of our indoor programming space, pool, gym, studios, our preschool, our staff offices, utilities, part-time staff, and the taxes there. Based on the numbers that we've been able to do this since December to finish out the past fiscal year and this current fiscal year, we're expecting actually more of a $30,000 to $40,000 deficit this year, which would average out to about a $333 a month rental fee in a sense. Another thing that we've done starting this year is we actually combined all of our the 79 and the 80 budget. Just to give an idea, there's 2 separate budgets when it comes to the recreation department. There's a 79 budget that we ran before we moved into the rec center, and then there's an 80 budget for the rec center. By moving all of or combining all of our offices into one facility, we've actually seen a dramatic increase in our revenue in the 79 budget, where now families can sign up for multiple classes at one time. We've seen already just through the fiscal year of August a $45,000 increase in revenue from last year to this year. Just to give a comparison on the overall budget overall, you can kind of see on the left-hand side through August 2010, and then on the right-hand side through August 2011, exactly where we're at with our revenue, our expenses, our membership, total members, and our fund balance at this time. We have reduced the deficit to near almost $33,000 from last year at this time. Now, it's a little hard to explain because there was actually 3 payments in August last year for staff cost, and we're actually doing that 3 payments this month. So that deficit is more of a $23,000, and we'll pick that back up starting at the end of September, where we'll see kind of a decrease here in September of the deficit, and then we'll actually do better in October and November, and I can kind of show that here with our budget projections for the next few months. At the end of September, we're expecting a $58,000 to $59,000 deficit compared to when it was $73,000 last year. In October, last year their deficit went up to $88,000. We're expecting it to go down to $54,000 to $56,000. In November last year, it went up to 90,000. We continue to see it going down to 51, 53,000. Just to kind of give an idea on the revenue from the 79 budget, this is through August. If you look at the first line item where it says program revenue, last year we had brought in $72,127. This year we've already brought in $117,230, so that's that $45,000 difference by combining all of our offices that we brought in. Also, just kind of, we were just showing on there where our transfer has changed dramatically, where last year we brought in 79,000, this year we're at 61. And overall, though, our total generated revenue with combining the 79 budget up with the 80 budget and then also leasing out the other buildings, we've seen a dramatic increase in our total revenue. This is just a breakdown of the transfers that we've gotten over the years, just to kind of show how it's gone up and kind of down, what's given to us. Just wanted to also show that in 2006, 2007, before we took over the rec center, we were a little over $1 million in transfer, offering 120 classes and programs. And this year, with a $732,000 transfer, we've actually gone up to 249 classes and programs. Just the last thing, just to give an idea on the amount of staff, we have 35 to 40 part-time employees at a given time. That can kind of fluctuate, which around 30 of them are Yorkville residents. And that's that on the kind of the analysis there.
Okay, that's all for the presentation. Okay, then we will entertain a motion to adjourn the city council meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Spears.
Aye.
Hilshewski.
Aye.
Colosimo.
Aye.
Cobb.
Aye.
Teeling.
Aye.
Gilson.
Aye.
Funkhauser.
Aye.
Mons.
We'll then roll right into the special meeting. Okay, I will call to order the special meeting between City Council and the Park Board. Roll call, please. Just a second, please.
Yes. It is a joint meeting, yes.
Gilson.
Aye.
Colosimo.
Present.
Hilshewski.
Here.
Cobb.
Here.
Mons.
Here.
Funkhauser.
Here.
Spears.
Present.
Teeling.
Here.
For the Park Board, Polk.
Here.
Torres. Here. Sedgwick.
Here.
Hovney. Chirulis.
Here.
Sussich. Here. Dilday.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Do we have any citizen comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purchase or lease of real property for use of the public body.
So move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Spears.
Jackie Spears.
Alden Spears.
Aye.
Hilshewski.
Aye.
Colosimo.
Aye.
Cobb.
Aye.
Teeling. Aye. Gilson.
Aye.
Funkhauser.
Aye.
Mons.
Aye.
For the Park Board, Polk.
Aye.
Torres. Sedgwick.
Aye.
Hovney. Chirulis. Sussich. Dilday.